while I've been on a desk. It may have happened.
You just didn't notice.
Maybe you didn't see.
No, I'm actually quite familiar with it. I have a Geek girlfriend. But we are waiting right now for Geek Fam to make their final selection. Curveball that's definitely made our panel very excited. But the question is, what will Geek Fam do?
The Underlord. We talked about it.
Yeah, you talked about it very early.
It roots the Riki so she can't leap away or pop into the ultimate.
I didn't know Riki is a she.
We've gone back and forth about this actually quite a few times.
He said he was dating Riki. I assumed it was a girl. Sorry, didn't.
It was because I can't see her.
I differently, but whatever.
I was about the, can't, because...
Nah, but we're good. Yeah, so Underlord, the percentage-based damage, the root, also another save mechanic, and gives them push power.
Yeah.
Like, if you win a team fight with Underlord, you can easily take 2 towers.
Is this enough to bring it back, though, for you, Kyle? Is this enough to all of a sudden look at this and say, okay, I see a clear win condition for Geek Fam. Maybe they're not as far on the back foot as they were a little bit earlier on in this draft.
I just don't know if I like that they have limited abilities. They can't push. The game is just so much more complicated for them, Rich. Like, you've got a player on the Chen creep, so you're not going to be able to push towers. All 3 cores need a good start. Cuckoo is not on his comfort zone as Underlord. Mm-hmm. And I just feel like when you have Riki and Ember and 2 different shields you can put on them, like, these are terrifying heroes. The name of the game thus far seems to be mobility, pace, playing with speed. You have 2 cores that just have so much ability to move around the map fast, 3 heroes that'll support them and ensure you'll win team fights too, and I don't think Geek Fam's on comfort heroes. I just gotta go with RNG.
It's a really good Underlord game. There's no burst. He's gonna be playing either against Riki, probably against Riki, or Ember Spirit, so he's gonna have a good matchup, and he's tanky enough. I think this lineup could easily snowball. If I don't see the names on the screen, I would say Dire won the draft. Like, I'm digging it.
I think it's certainly more even than the previous game. I just think RNG's untouchable right now.
Okay. A lot of boxes are checked. You have the silence, you have the control, the sustain, you have some tower damage. What are you pointing?
I wanted you to check the box.
All right, I didn't see. I didn't see. From my
Yeah,
angle, it looked like
come on,
something
Kyle,
else.
you can do it. Give him the box one more time. Give him the box one more time. Just kidding. Let's go over to the casters. Shut up, Kyle.
Shut up, Kyle, indeed. There we have it, ladies and gentlemen. We're getting ready for game 2. And we've got a Riki on our hands, something we don't always see. A hero that I've seen, at least in some pubs, mainly I felt at least, it was in a lot of sort of the North American pubs. So I was seeing some sort of the high-level players play the Riki, and I was like, all right, it's an NA thing. But no, RNG say, hey, we can do it too. They're bringing out the Riki. What do we reckon?
Nothing good ever came from copying the NA pubs. So I don't know. Perhaps it can work for RNG because they've been just godlike, like Kyle has said. They've been unstoppable, and when you see the names of the players, you kind of lean in with the RNG, right? But
yeah, sure.
If you just see these drafts, man, I believe Geek Fam have won this draft quite convincingly.
You'd agree with Lacoste?
Yeah, definitely. You have Underlord with Chen, so much pushing power. Once a couple of utility items are bought by the Underlord, you're going to have a Crimson or a Pipe. Riki, he's going to tickle him in the laning stage. He's going to tickle that Underlord. It's very difficult to take him down with Riki plus Lich.
Yeah, definitely the upsides of the Riki pick, as the panel was saying, are those against the other cores in the game, right? They're the Pucks, the Slarks, these heroes that aren't going to have a way to really deal with the smokescreen silence. But of course, they've got to have the damage to follow things up.
The talent with the smoke is still the same, I believe, right? Even though the hero got reworked, you're not invis anymore like you used to be, not at least immediately.
The battle begins.
I believe the smoke is still the same, and it's still very, very, very powerful.
Yes, yeah, you're going to get a lot of them out.
However, a couple of 4-staffs from Chen, from Rubik are definitely necessary in this kind of a game to help you out with that smoke screen. And once you get that BKB, the game will become a little bit easier for you. Now, again, we do have sustain from both sides. On RNG, we do see the Omni Knight again. I'm surprised he actually got into this game without being banned. Bye-bye, Pingu.
Yeah, Monet having a bit of fun here, getting the penguins out. And yeah, let's see, because it does feel like, we'll see how much CS Monet can get. Because Cuckoo on the Underlord, Zephyr is the Rubik. You know, the combinations like the Aura and the Fade Bolt, I feel like it's hard for Riki to get the CS. But we'll see how well Monet can do with the pressure that Geek Fam's going to be applying.
I have a feeling you get level 3 on Underlord and you hit him for half of his HP. So perhaps Monet can play it really well, but it's not an easy lane for him.
I'm already super forced to pop us out there. The aggression from the Rubik.
Yeah, a little bit of a weird situation right here for them. I don't think they benefited this because the tower is hitting the creeps, and at the same time you can't approach the creeps because of Cuckoo, right? He's just constantly spamming his spells and hitting you.
I claim it.
On these other lanes, top lane, as you see, Raven will be farming away as the start. Pressure will be onto him from that Omni that RNG do indeed value very highly, as we saw picking it first up in the draft, and understandably so. We're seeing how powerful this hero
the
is.
gods right here, Super versus Zephyr. Once
we
again.
saw it last game.
Oh,
This time Monet, he's going to be getting involved as they will try the support kill. Zephyr makes the move to TP out, and he'll make it away.
Yeah, good TP. He realized that that's his only way of getting out. The blink with the Frost Shield is definitely powerful early on. Well, not that powerful versus Underlord, but Rubik, he can fall.
And this mid lane, Carl, Putt, Setsu, Ember. Well, what do we expect to see here? Someone going to come out on top?
I don't know. I usually like to see Karl on these heroes that are a little bit on a cheesier side but can take over the game completely. Puck right now is an amazing hero, and I believe I've seen Karl's highlight with the Puck from Dota 1. Like, he's definitely really good on the hero. However, every time I saw him on some Huskars or ODs or something, he takes over completely. On the playmakers, his team just gets stretched across the map, and it doesn't look as compact as on those other heroes that they can just play around. He is the new player in their team, so it's always easier to have one solid plan around him.
Carl, he's got to be a little careful here.
Calculated.
I mean, I guess, yeah.
Not even
he was holding on to
relax,
he was holding on to a fairy fire as well, so
he knew.
he's going to have that self taken off a little prematurely.
Obviously, I think that Puck is really strong in this game too. Silences versus Ricky versus Ember and Omni Knight are amazing. At the same time, if Shadow Shaman gets that blink Etherland, something like that, Puck can fall easily. Setsu, he dropped very low there.
And Carl seeing a good opportunity to trade back a hell of a lot of damage onto the Ember. Side lanes, how are we doing? 12 for 1 on Flywin, not being able to slow down Raven's farm, 18 for 5. Still, things go very good for the Slark in the safe lane. And the same can't be said for Monet's Ricky. As expected, it's not easy for him to farm very early on, as he's only got 9 CS at the moment, as Geek Fam are proving to have quite an easy lane down here. Cuckoo and Zephyr, they're heroes. They just make it. It really does. We saw it on paper and we're seeing it in action. It's just so hard for a safe lane Ricky to farm down here.
It's not hard, it's disastrous. He has 9 CS 4 minutes in.
And meanwhile, Raven, he's picking up action. That's the first blood for him.
And that's the hero that you want to be strong. You
And
want to give him those kills. And
they're
now
losing
Super
heroes down here. Super's dead.
wants to give some damage to the Underlord as well. That's it. That's his level 3, and suddenly this lane, I don't know how they're going to deal with them. Perhaps rotate September down there, but if you do that, your Omni Knight is going to be weak. And we've seen just how much...
Woo! Setsu, I guess it couldn't quite have got in for an extra right click there. Did sort of hesitate, but I think the change would have won off, and the haste rune would have kept Carl safe anyway.
Definitely not a hero to take down easily.
No.
We do see September rotating bottom. Shadow Shaman perhaps can change the state of the game down here.
Trying to get aggressive onto Cuckoo. He is low, and as you say, September will be able to offer that extra bit of burst that may just push Cuckoo over the edge. There's the slow. September's in. Another nuke with the shock. Jump forward from Monet. RNG get the kill. And they may just get a second. Shackle from September. Catches out Zephyr. The setup's there. And RNG clean up both kills in that bottom lane. And a very crucial movement from September.
That's definitely really good. Very well played, especially because Flyvin is also capable of taking the bounty rune on the top lane away from Dubu. He is only level 3 and isn't pressuring Slark at all. So even though you rotate your support to that safe lane, now you had a tri lane, right? And was that really worth it? I don't believe it was, unless he makes something more happen, perhaps ganks mid next.
Level 6. About to be hit by Carl, of course. We saw Setsu's already got his, so very hard to make plays onto the Ember Spirit now.
Did they see him there? They pinged him out instantly.
I think is it the orb vision?
It could have been the orb vision.
Just kind of catch him as he came into range. Okay, but bottom again.
Every time we click on this bottom lane, you just see 2 heroes with 10% HP being downed by Rubik and Underlord.
I feel they need September down here each and every time. The dual lane cannot deal with the pressure. If they bring in a +1, they get kills.
And they're listening to. They're rotating September.
They need that extra bit of help down here, RNG, to try and make space for Monet to farm, because as it continues, I think in the last minute, he's only gone up by 1 CS. There's 2, he's up to 11, but it's still a very slow start.
He's getting them now. September is forced to stay here. He's like, I'm looking at you, Ricky, you better get some CS right now.
Cuckoo just making sure that we can try and take these big creeps away, and we'll be able to get it there. I believe that was in there. Both with some of the colours on the heroes, but I think it was Cuckoo's.
Yeah. Still only 14 CS on Ricky, sorry, so we'll see.
Radiant structure.
14 CS on Ricky, Slark 43.
Quite a difference. Yes.
Slark has 14 denies,
Yeah.
so that's kind of the same, right? That's it. It's kind of even.
There, Geek Fam, they're certainly going to have this point of the game where Raven's going to be feeling so strong in comparison to the carry Ricky.
They might be rotating Puck here as well with the call from Dubu. Are they? They're not. They might take September on their own. It should be easy. Yeah,
They'll get him. Meanwhile, they did lose Cuckoo down bottom. Super was able to set up, and him and Monet able to take down the tanky offlaner. Cuckoo must have just hung around a little too long, as he's not necessarily an easy kill.
He's not necessarily an easy kill, but then again, if you don't have your Rubik,
they
will wear you down eventually.
Yeah, we'll get to see exactly what went down here. And
he was already low.
He was playing far too aggressive.
Yeah. That's the thing. He was already low. If he was 100% HP, he probably can escape, but he's just playing on 50% when Rubik got most likely recalled by Chen towards that top lane.
And overall, 3 for 3, 1k lead for Geek Fam.
Shadow Shaman is here. Setsu is baiting him. But September, oh, this might be great from Carl.
They need TPs. They are going to get it. There's going to be the follow-up with Zephyr. Do they have the damage for the burst? The Stream Carl will be snapped by Setsu. September will fall. Setsu will live. Carl able to... Oh, no, maybe not. Setsu's going to jump in. He's trying to steal it. He's not going to be able to find it, though, as Carl jumps forward with the Waning Rift and gets the kill on top of it.
That's great from Carl. They make a move on him, and with that excellent Dream Coil, he just turns it into a double kill for him.
Very nice plays from Geek Fam, and Carl punishing Setsu. I mean, Setsu, he felt he could chase for that. It was a big mistake from him. It's Carl. Now, that's something, right, you wouldn't have seen happen before. It's having that little bit of a blink in the W. That made all the difference there for Carl, being able to close that gap before Setsu was able to get on top of the room with the Remnant.
That was still very greedy from the Ember to even try to go for that double damage room, because you know that Rubik is around, so he will help Carl out.
Bit of an attempt onto Carl. He still has the orb. We'll pop the silence first to make sure the quick Remnant chase won't be there. Zephyr, meanwhile, is dealing with issues. In fact, Carl does still die. Setsu's still able to chase him down with the Remnant after the silence ended. And Geek Fam lose Zephyr to the chase of September and Super.
Geek Fam, my boys, you're doing amazingly well, but you need to chill a little bit. When you take down these kills, you don't have to necessarily just stick around with 50% HP. Underlord dies bottom because of that. Now Puck and Rubik die mid. Even though they're completely dominating the laning stage, they're feeding kills unnecessarily, and they're basically giving RNG that helping hand that will bring them back into the game.
Yeah, giving Monet that time to slowly start getting
20 CS.
Getting his farm up. It's going to take a lot of time. He's still got a bit of recovery.
I don't know, he's going for this Power Trust Diffusal build, and that's actually telling us that he wants to be super active early on. And how can you farm with Ricky even?
I think you've got to farm heroes.
You've got to farm heroes indeed. 10-minute mark, the bounty rune and the outpost is controlled by Geek Fam. They have such high mobility from the Chen, from the Underlord.
They're getting both.
Yeah, they can just rotate across the map so easily, right? You have Underlord to just Dark Rift you from one side to the other. You also have Chen to call you if necessarily.
Monet's got to be careful how he steps forward here. Does have the invis, of course, for Geek Fam. Will pounce if he reveals his position.
It just feels easier to sentry up the map right now and to see these bounty hunters, Rickies, whatever, rotating across the map. So I'm not so sure how much this invis will help him when it comes to being sneaky, right?
Now Cuckoo being level 7, it's now the point where they need a fair few heroes to try for him. Quick jump forward.
Well, they are trying. Setsu is here also invis. Sadly for him, it's a Ricky lane, so they're bound to have some
Radiant's
sentries
middle
on it.
tower is under
He gets
attack.
scouted out and he's off to the mid lane again, which is being pushed in by Puck. The tower is already on 50% HP. Maybe they can take him down though. Yeah,
He's
use
used
the
the
orb.
orb. Ooh,
Oh.
he jumps across to it, but there's
Omni Knight.
Flywin waiting on the high ground.
Radiant's middle tower
As Carl,
is under attack.
he's got one more orb, a coil as well. He goes for the TP, and Carl is not getting out.
Got him.
Setsu,
Yeah.
the sleight of fist damage, it must have only just been enough, but it is. And
mean-
he will kill Carl. Great attempt from the puck, but
And the tower is denied.
not great enough.
By the way, I have to say that Carl played that really well. He reacted super well. That orb was out and he knew that he can't stay there because the smoke was just about to break. Gives it his best, in the end he still dies, but was a fun little play that he made there.
My thrift rewarded.
September and Super up with the smokes, ready to see if they can punish Cuckoo, who's starting to get a little too comfortable down in this bottom lane as he creeps closer and closer towards the tier 1 tower on his own.
Maybe you can use wards from Shadow Shaman here as well to kill him, or at least Chain Frost. Oh,
Is it enough? It is.
it's more than enough, but you just committed 2 big ultimates on that Underlord.
No, they definitely
That's
needed
why
at
Carl
least
is
the one.
laughing.
Otherwise, he may have got out with Rift in time. Like I think the Chain
I'm not
Frost
saying-
was required.
Yeah, they definitely need it, but now it's Geek Fam's game. They can do whatever they want to. And most likely they will start pushing. I'm surprised they haven't already with this Chen. Perhaps wait for the Underlord and then go for the tier 1s.
Tower is under attack.
Super actually also falls.
Raven, he's still the man in charge this game.
We've seen Slark a couple of times today versus Embers, versus Ricky as well. If you leash him, I wonder how the interactions work between these two. Ricky isn't really the most popular hero to see in pubs right now.
I think that between that and the roots, it's going to be hard for Mono to get around. He's just going to be locked down for such a long time. And
he's definitely going to need something like a BKB or a Manta at some point. Omni Knight with Heavenly's Grace just isn't going to cut it. But you want damage, right? You're a Ricky.
yeah, he needs that.
What does a Ricky truly need?
We're going to find out this game. You know, something that RNG obviously believe in, this 5th pick Ricky. It's going to take time to come online. It's been a slow start for Monet because of the very hard dual lane that he was up against.
He wasn't dying on it though.
He didn't feed.
Yeah.
He did not feed, that is true. Just had a slow start in CS as he had to keep himself away from the creeps. But 1-0-3, he was getting involved in those actions thanks to the movements from September's Shadow Shaman.
I love the fact that RNG is completely mirroring Geek Fam's movements, and they have to be doing that right now. Geek Fam, they're playing excellently around this push-oriented lineup that they've got. Chen is just playing in their side of the map, and here we go.
They're trying for Monet. He'll drop down the smoke screen. They still have to lift, but Monet's now got backup. RNG coming in with the TPs. They'll jump forward looking for Carl, but an orb gets him away. The chase will be on, though. In with the Remnant. They'll keep themselves on top of Carl, but Geek Fam, they've now brought the numbers as well. Raven pounces forward, straight on top of September. Looking to take out the Shaman, and he'll get it. The wards are out in time. Cuckoo already saying he kind of wants to get out of this fight. I think he may decide he wants to stick around, because RNG, they're getting low. Do they really want to escape? They do, which means that Super actually ends up surviving. Raven's still been left behind with Carl to keep the fight going. GA is popped, but it's too late. They've lost the Ember. They can find Carl. Carl, another jump, but there's the chase. Monet's in behind him, stabs him down.
Raven.
Radiant's bottom tower
Hasn't got any detection himself to find Monet.
I don't know about that Dark Rift from Cuckoo. Was that truly necessary? They were all
I feel like he could have stuck around on the front with them all.
He definitely could have. He's on 50% HP. He's a tanky beast. He needs to be acting like one.
Bottom lane, Geek Fam have the wave pushed in on this tier 2 tower. See how much they can get done with that in mind. They'll start to show, start to apply the pressure. We'll see if RNG want to turn up to the fight. They are going to have Setsu back up in a couple. Geek Fam diving in behind the tower, see if they can find any way to start this off with a pick-off. They've got to be a little respectful of the respawn of Setsu.
It's still very difficult for them to catch this Slark at the front lines. Even with the smoke screen, it's just not enough. You don't have enough catch with the Shadow Shaman, perhaps, but there's so many ways to disrupt that. With the Rubik, with the ultimate from Chen to heal that Slark up, with the Underlord, you just don't have the burst. defending is actually very difficult.
Radiant's bottom
You don't even have
tower is
creep,
under attack.
like wave clearing capabilities, right? Not
Dire's middle
at this
tower
moment,
is
at
under
least.
attack.
They're going to find September a little out of position. The Shaman will go.
Instantly onto the tier 2.
Definitely one of the weaknesses of the Shaman. Very vulnerable to being just taken down by a Slark if he steps too far towards the front lines. 16 minutes in, still very, very good timings for these objectives.
Don't you love it when you get the Dragon Scale as well?
Oh, he's so tanky, Cuckoo. They won't quite get the tower. Frost Shield will dissuade them from sticking around for the push for now. They may wait on for the next wave and come back.
I think they should be pushing, they should be pressuring. They're returning to the tier 2. I don't see the reason to stop at the moment. You have Chen's ulti, you're so tanky on the Underlord. And most importantly, you're playing versus a Riki and he's useless. So why not?
And just look at the sort of aggression from Geek Fam. Anytime they sense anyone come off this high ground, they're diving immediately towards them.
I'm just waiting for the moment in which this Riki gets the Fusel Blade. That moment will tell us if this pick is actually useful or not, because that's his first big item. And he's not gonna get many more unless this item makes him really useful. He's not farming fast, he needs to be farming heroes, like you said before. And this Diffusal is going to make it or break it for him.
Radiant's
At this
middle
sort of
tower
pace,
is
though,
under
he is
attack.
going to be like almost an item behind Raven's Slark.
Dire's top
Raven
tower
continuing to have an entirely uninterrupted game. Now may be in a little bit of a spot of buffer. He's got the pounce out. Will pop the Shadow Dance. They jump in with the Remnants. Can he get away under the cover of that Shadow Dance? He's running. Roots down. Locks back Setsu for a little bit and will get the safety for Raven to escape. Mono's going to jump across for a squishier kill. Chain Frost is out. No messing about.
He sacrificed himself there. If you didn't notice, I believe he lifted either the Riki or the Shadow Shaman, preventing Shadow Shaman from getting on top of that Slark and preventing him from pouncing away. Zephyr very selfless in that situation, just sacrifices himself. BKB almost completed on Slark, needs, what, 900 gold more, and he's got it, so that's pretty much the point at which Carl...
They've caught the puck.
Yep.
RNG punishing these sort of little plays where Geek Fam are sending out cores alone.
He's just being a little bit cheeky. He's a puck. He has so many evasive maneuvers that he can play aggressively. Also, he forced them to use the wards, so it's not the end of the world for him, but definitely not the kill that you want to be giving away to RNG. There are two big items coming up. It's obviously three. First is the Diffusal on Riki. Second is the BKB on Ember and the BKB on Slark, which should be there very, very soon.
And an interest with Simone. Diffusal, we'll see if he does it. He's queued up the Battle Fury next.
I know, man. It's just interesting. Interesting to watch, interesting to
Battle
see what's
Fury
going to happen
Riki.
with it. Yeah. Coming to your pubs.
I know, yes.
Already tonight.
Watch out, boys and girls.
Enjoy.
Well, let's see. I'm excited to see what Mone's able to pull out with this one. Still has a fair bit of recovering to do this game.
That's what, 100 gold away, more or less. So he's going to have that BKB. Slark is in the same situation, and after these BKBs are completed, we will see a couple of team fights. It's basically the calm before the storm at the moment. September does not allow them to get experience. Well, does not allow his team to lose the experience this time around.
Yeah, make sure that RNG have at least one under their wing for this 20-minute mark. Still close in terms of overall numbers. Just 20 minutes in, only 1K ahead that Geek Fam take the lead. Still chance and time for RNG to sort of scale up if they do want to go and commit for this Riki Battle Fury build.
It feels so good to play Rubik versus Omni Knight. You just steal whatever.
Yeah,
whatever
you
get
always
is
get
good.
something great. You pretty much, I mean, well, unless there's sort of those clutch plays, you're right. Most of the time, you're just looking at the Omni to grab his toolkit.
In this kind of a game, I think Shadow Shaman is also definitely a great target to steal spells from. If you steal a Disable, it's, I believe, even better perhaps than the wards, because you can hex that Ember or the Riki, and you can change the course of teamfight completely.
Focus here on the mid lane as Geek Fam Starting to get the push together. The army has been summoned by Dubu.
They have the mech, they have the ulti from Chen. Coco obviously bringing all the sustain as well with the pipe.
This tier 2 tower. See what sort of a defense RNG do want to put together outside of the base. They are coming back for this one, bringing in Setsu.
And both teams should be ready for this team fight. You have the defusal, you have the BKBs ready. But definitely, I think Geek Fam are in a little bit of a better situation.
Trying to chase Carl. It's a hard hero to really finish off. Mone's going to continue to sort of push him away from the fight. Does mean that Flywind's been left alone a bit. Setsu will jump across to try and help out his Omni. Flywin will be able to escape with the buff of the Heavenly Grace. BKB popped by Setsu. He's trying to commit for this one. The ward's down. September will fall. Ravens BKB as well pop.
Carl.
As he looks to keep this fight going strong for Geek Fam. Turns his attention towards Setsu. The Dream calls down. The pounce as well into the stuns from the army of Dubu. They have the control to take down the Ember. Geek Fam get 2.
Maybe there was some sort of a plan with this Ricky, but that plan is definitely not coming to fruition as they are just losing team fights one after another. They're losing objectives, and Geek Fam not only has outdrafted them, but is just basically outplaying them. Chen, did you see that heal? No one can die on this side of Geek Fam. It's very difficult. They have to be super out of position and caught alone somewhere. If that doesn't happen, you have Pipe from the Underlord, you have Mech from the Chen, the heals from the Chen, and they're all elusive enough with the BKBs now.
And they're going to go for Roche, Geek Fam. They're starting to realize they have this edge, and it's very hard for RNG to take the fights 5-on-5.
They just used all their abilities, and they're not truly healthy, right? So perhaps this isn't the best idea.
Let's pop back Shriner.
Yeah, this is how they were feeding in the laning stage. They do a couple of very good maneuvers, and then they just overstay their welcome. This is much better. Smoke up and go for a play.
Raven's going to be the one leading the way. Smoke will dispel. Jumps in, gets the slow on Super, but Super's prepared with the Glimmer. There's no detection on the front lines. Carl's going to go in.
He
gets the Dream Coil on the back lines. Maybe they can go for the 2 of them. September, he'll be the new focus. Silence and held in place. September will be taken down.
And now Super.
Mone's trying to turn up to the fight on the side with Fly when he commits onto Zephyr. Setsu's in, but telekinesis holds Setsu back, drags him down. BKB's pop. Setsu wants to jump forward, finish off the kill on the Ruby, but Zephyr's still alive. Another remnant. It's a heavy commitment, but finally Setsu will get the kill. But he's losing his teammates. The 2 supports are dead on RNG. Flywin will be followed into the trees. He's trying to juke this out, but he's out of mana. He's got no health to play with. As Geek Fam take another convincing team fight.
Did you see just how much time that Ember needed to take down Rubik?
Yeah, he's committing his BKB, pretty much all the remnants.
And you can't kill a Rubik. Like, not even their position. Well, he did die in the end, but by the time he died, you just lost all your teammates, and you're like all alone.
Geek Fam still not looking confident enough to go back to Roche. They did bring it down to 50% HP. Obviously, it's starting to regen up right now.
I have a feeling that already RNG is in a situation in which they have to be looking 20 minutes, you know, in the future.
I mean, they are.
They can't win any team fights. So perhaps once this Battle Fury is completed, once this Ricky is 6 slotted, you can take some.
They've got to try and keep this game going. Yep. Get it to the point where Mone's some sort of late game beast on the Ricky.
You can see Rubik went for Aetherlance into 4 staff. No blink daggers like in that last game, and I like this. I respect this. I think it's needed. Setsu has BKB.
Do they have the control? BKB will be popped. He is going to try and stand toe-to-toe with Zephyr, but now he has to remnant away because the chase is there. September will be the one caught alone on the sidelines. The rest of RNG on the retreat.
He's always just there, you know. He's not really the one leading the charge. Even before, when he dies next to that tier 2, Lich was the actual target.
I'll take that.
And so you know, he's starting to feel the sort of power he has at the moment. He's gonna try and go for the Radiant. So again, you know, Radiance on the Ember, Battle Fury on the Ricky. They're looking to farm this one out. They're looking to push it to the later stages of the game. The question is, do Geek Fam give them that chance to keep this game going? Geek Fam, they're getting back on track. They're taking this Roshan. And we'll see if Setsu can do any sort of steal. He is setting up outside the pit. But does he want to try for this? It could be very risky.
Another a remnant, but he's caught.
I think he made his BKB's on cooldown.
He's gone.
Poking around like that without the BKB ready to pop, that is definitely tip-worthy. As Geek Fam not only get the Roshan, but they get an Ember Spirit kill on top of it all.
It's definitely dangerous to poke Geek Fam like that. And They take the Aegis and they're ready to push this high ground definitely, because remember, they have this Underlord. He can be the one pushing. You can just put him up front. He's taking the towers easily.
And not
Now
just Setsu, and Omni Knight too by the looks of it, unless Flywing can pull some incredible magic tricks here. But he seems all out of luck as that is another core thrown to the side. Geek fam really starting to utilize the fact that RNG, they've got this carry Ricky, who's still he's trying to finish the battlefield. He doesn't want to fight.
Look, memes aside, RNG did not see this Ricky in this game. So far, at least, he's been nowhere. He's just been farming AFK in the jungle. He tries to join these team fights, but has zero impact.
He's nearly got the Battle Fury. He's very, very close. He's a wave away from it. This will do it.
Really?
Then the farming can truly begin.
Yeah, exactly.
And they are still yet to lose a tier 3 tower on the high ground. So the high ground, they'll have a good shot at holding.
As long as the throne stands. That's all he's telling them right now. However, I think in the next couple of minutes we should see Geek fam just pressuring and sieging the high ground.
Monet. They're coming out at the base here, RNG. See if they can catch anyone alone. September. He does get dream coiled, but no further jump forward from Geek fam as they realize the rest are there. Now Raven's ready to go. He goes in, but immediately Raven pops the BKB. The smoke screen does nothing at all to him as he's good to go. Turns towards Flyer and now pounces in onto Setsu. Forces the BKB out from the Ember. Staying there on the Omni. He needs help, Flyer, and he's going to provide it for himself with the GA. Will manage to retreat. Raven still trying to come in onwards with the Shadow Dance. Cannot quite find the further kills, or maybe Setsu's in trouble. There's a buyback. They're trying to turn. Raven jumps out straight away from the tricks of the trade.
He's got Aegis, but it's unnecessary for him to dive that deep and die. Makes the right decision to fall back, but you can see RNG, the only thing that they can do right now is run.
And farm.
Run
Here
for
it
the
is.
hills. Yeah,
Battle Fury's done.
You know what's good about this Invis? You can sneak outside of your own base and just go into their jungle and perhaps find some farm there.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, so far, as I say, you know, Monet, he's not been feeding.
Yep.
He's kept to the plan of making sure that he isn't found. They aren't able to hunt him down.
Wait, did that change? Is it still pocket tricky?
I'm pretty sure that, yeah, you're still jumping a hero. So you have got the mobility of the Ember Spirit to play around with in terms of sort of just jumping in and sort of just adding to the damage output. If Setsu does get a Radiant, sort of the combination of the Radiance and the Ricky nice and deep inside him, it's a lot of damage that you have to take that Ember away out of the fight, otherwise you cannot sort of afford to stand toe-to-toe to him. The question is it enough damage? Because
Cuckoo is already here.
They're 8K ahead.
I don't think they're waiting for that Aghanim, that's the problem. Well, Raven is somewhere on the side jumping around, but the rest of his teammates, they're keeping their eyes on the objectives.
Well, see, the damage is... It's decent now from Monet as he goes in, but it's still not really quite enough to get the kill. He'll go towards Cuckoo, silences out. Money already burst down to half health. Another roots out. Can Geek fam find any further jump in? He cannot, as Monet will blink to the side, blink back to base.
Also Rubik's Stove purification, which is so amazing for them. They keep Cuckoo just hitting the tower, then they heal him up. Meanwhile, Slark, I don't know, he's in his own world on the left side, just playing on their high ground.
Another silence, root as well. Raven's in, looking towards Monet and September. He's going for the shot. September will be healed. Setsu's gone. Dead for a minute. Buys back immediately. Raven just diving past tier 4s here with the BKB and Shadow Dance. Now has to back off a bit. Still has that Aegis, that extra life to rely on. Geek fam, the tower has been taken.
That's the tower. You force the buyback. You move to the shrines.
It's going to slow down that Radiance that Setsu was looking for.
That's the worst part. I believe that's the worst part. This tier 3 was bound to fall. It didn't truly matter that much. The fact that this Ember is slowed down now as well, together with his Ricky. That's the issue. But you could see a glimpse of hope there for RNG. They were damaging that Underlord. At least they took away 10 or 20% of his HP, so perhaps if the rest of his teammates just ignore them, they can take down Cuckoo.
They are on the prowl. Carl, he's already out of this area. No one else is down here. So all they are moving across for is to reclaim an outpost. Will, of course, be after that 30-minute.
Here we go.
And already Carl, he's TPing in. He isn't going to complete it. And he doesn't want to try and fight. And no need to with this outpost being taken at this sort of time. doesn't really matter too much.
They are coming though. 3 of them are still smoked.
Raven's in. Aegis has just timed out, bear in mind, so does have to give it a little bit of respect to that.
Radiant's middle
Jumps away, but he's still sticking around. Super has been caught.
Mone's in, on for Dubu, the root's out though, controlling the turn, and Setsu pops the BKB, he's looking to take down the supports, Dubu pops the hand of God, Dubu's still alive, finally falls, the Remnants will do it, Dubu is dead. It's Monet, another jump forward, trying to get the control onto Zephyr, Zephyr dealing with this Ricky, September turns, he's got the control on Carl, Carl's knocked down, the punk is double, nuked out, the punk is dead, Cuckoo ripped out, he wants to take Raven home, but the taxi man's dead, 3 gone on Geek Fam, RNG coming out on top of the fight, Zephyr's going to go for the escape, have they got the lockdown? Yes, they have, the Hex is there, 4 dead on Geek Fam, as they lose the first team fight in what's been the entire game, RNG losing nobody, and that is a huge scare for Geek Fam, losing a fight whilst having their whole team ready to go and being 8k ahead. RNG, they're striking back.
Yeah, that was incredible. That was amazing by RNG, and I love to see new things work. I love to see this Ricky actually showing up and doing some decent damage with the Battle Fury, with the Defusal.
Here comes Raven though, and Setsu.
This game is interesting again.
No BKB and no mana. He has got the speed with the phase boost. And that will, I don't know if the Raven now himself has to be a bit careful. Monet's started to sneak into the area. And that Aghanims, he's nearly got it done off the back of that fight. 600 gold to go and the Aghanims will be complete.
Quickening Charm as well picked up by him. Probably can't give it to the Omni Knight. He also has a Halberd completed. These items are coming up for RNG, especially after that one team fight.
So it's just such a painful fight for Geek Fam to lose. Another one going as badly as that, you'll start to see RNG take the lead in this game.
I'm just interested. I don't see this Aghanims Ricky quite often, and it'll be interesting to see just how well it works together with the Ember. As you said, there is a lot of ability combined.
It's going to be nice with the way that Setsu can just keep on top of the heroes.
Usually you see it, with Magnus, you know, those combos, RP with Empowered Ricky pocketed in. But this might work too.
Yeah, as I say, well, both carries have continued to have such a clean game. Raven 5-0-10, Monet 3-0-8. It has just been that for this first 30 minutes of gameplay, Raven's been much more impactful than Monet. He's been playing the safe game. He's had these items in his sights, the Defusal, the Battle Fury, the Aghanims. They're pretty much done. Now we're really going to see the power of the Ricky.
If they win this game, I just have to say there aren't many teams that can have their carry completely offline, completely AFK for 30 minutes in the game and still win. So even with that team fight, even just taking that team fight is amazing. And the RNG, they're just showing why they are so strong and why they have won almost every single match of this tournament.
See what they can try for here.
Ember Spirit also 1,000 gold away from the Radiance. Big setback by that buyback, obviously, but still getting there. Another smoke by Geek Fam. I don't think that they're necessarily on a big clock, that they have to continue pushing, because you do have Slark, he will scale very well, but you're playing into Ember and Ricky, and Chen will fall off eventually, together with your Underlords. So.
See what they get with this. RNG. Also around, you have Omni Knight just sort of being the wall there outside of the base, trying to dispel any sort of these moves. Geek Fam just going to focus on getting the wave pushed in.
Yeah, they're not really...
Get that final tier 2 tower.
Exactly, they're not really in any sort of a rush. As long as you take that area around Rosh, you're completely fine. You ward it up, you sentry it up so that Ricky cannot sneak by, and you wait patiently for that Roshan to respawn. Perhaps take the tier 2. The shrine has already been taken. Just play it strategically, don't do anything. Don't do anything too hasty like when they went on that outpost last.
And there it is for Setsu. Radiance is now done. These fights are... I don't think they're necessarily going to get easier for Geek Fam compared to sort of the way that they were getting away with making the plays earlier on. These tools are really coming together for RNG's cause.
33-52. That should be the minimum. 36-52 the maximum of Rush respawn. He already has respawned, however.
Geek Fam's in. The question is if RNG are going to head over in time.
They are heading over. They are moving around that mid lane.
I mean, if anything, you know, with that all chat from Duba, they did know that Geek Fam were thinking about going for this. They wanted an update. They are in. They are doing it pretty quickly, and RNG, they can't make it in time. Raven will be able to pick up the Aegis. Still, though, Money's trying to go for the fight. He jumps in, commits it with the tricks. Cuckoo gets himself out of range. The shackles are out. Setsu on the front.
Taking
Money's
lots of
looking for the
damage.
chase. Cuckoo, he's getting shredded here. The GA buff's out from Flywin, keeping the course good to go.
Carl.
They turn towards Carl. He's hexed. He's nuked. He's stuck at the smoke screen. Is just outside of the edge, so he has the phase shift. The jump out with the pull. The sinister gaze from Super drags him in. As Geek fam lose 2 heroes, Monet will continue to look to just move immediately towards this mid lane, and they can turn these 2 kills into potentially at least 1 tower, maybe even 2. Another loss for Geek fam.
They get the Aegis, they get the cheese, but they lose 2 big cores. Puck also, remember, does not have a buyback, so this should be your tier 2, perhaps even a tier 3 attempt. Overall, the damage definitely is there. Underlord is dying very quickly.
Oh yeah, we're starting to see. Everything it really is beginning to fall into place for RNG, despite Geek fam having that lead and seemingly having this whole period of the game where they were making moves without Monet able to do anything. But Monet, he kept it cool. He played the farm game, and it's really looking like it's absolutely paid off right now.
Yeah, they believed in him, they believed in the strategy, and right now it's paying off. Spider legs picked up by Shadow Shaman. This guy is doing quite a lot as well when it comes to containing Puck and catching him. Carl needs to be a bit more careful about the ways he plays.
He's going to go for the Hex here, Raven.
Monet.
Come in with the BKB, but Monet was able to jump over, get away. He's out of there. Raven couldn't kill him off in time. He's using the Shadow Dance to try and chase onwards, but another blink down to the low ground. Monet will escape. Super's in trouble.
There's the Halberd.
A Super hexed up by the stolen spell that Zephyr had grabbed, and they'll lose the support. But Monet escaping by the skin of his teeth there.
This game is really all about initiating, right? Who gets on this Ricky or the Slark or the Puck first? Which team initiates first and whose score is out of position?
It's kind of painful, though. RNG, they did lose the courier there that was trying to bring the gem back. Raven was able to snipe it out.
Ricky, even though he dishes out quite a lot of damage right now, is pretty squishy and doesn't have a lot of save on him. There is the Omni Knight, obviously, but if you get caught out of position, you might die, and he nearly did.
Raven's in. Quick attempt to make things happen. Setsu wants the fight to go on. Pots BKB into the front lines, towards it down to push Geek fan back. Jumping from Monet, cuts down the Rubik. Can they get more out of this? The smoke screen on the 3 of them. Continuing to spam and chase them out. Cuckoo's trying to take everybody home. Will he be able to do so in time? In fact, he's cancelled the taxi. He wants to turn. He wants to fight. Is that the correct decision, though, as he's out of mana? The Chain Frost thrown his way. Monet will look to chase him down as Cuckoo is slowed up, beaten apart. The Sinister Gaze turning Cuckoo around, allowing Monet to stab him in the back. As he should have maybe taken everybody back home. This wasn't a party that they should have stuck around for.
He cancelled it. They thought about continuing to fight because they were pretty healthy, but they just didn't have enough damage to go through all the sustain that Omni Knight was bringing to the party. Also, Rubik bought back for that fight. In the end, at least they only lose the Underlord and obviously the Rubik, but no big cores. Carl survives, and so does the Slark. They need to find a way to initiate on the Ricky while keeping Omni Knight contained, while disabling the Omni Knight. Carl has to keep in mind that he's the one to do that. I believe he needs to silence the Omni Knight while the rest of them somehow deal with the Ricky before he gets any big items that are going to enable him to actually survive that first impact, right? That first attempt.
He's going for the butterfly next, so his hits will, it's going to hurt. We've seen already, just Monet.
I guess this is the best way to play him. Just rely on the fact that you have this long-range blink and try to stay out of the fight, play on the outskirts, so you don't have to buy these BKBs or Mantas. If you buy them, you just will not have the damage necessary for these fights. This way, you are a glass cannon, but you hurt.
Which is in charge?
Carl's trying to build up the burst.
There you go, the Dagon for the Ricky.
Make sure they have something to nuke him down.
Yeah, he's queuing up the Abyssal. Absolutely no way of saving himself. Completely reliant on the Omni Knight.
But then when he has that, he's going to be so slippery in the fights, and you can't run away from him. Between the blink strikes, the tricks of the trade, the jump forward now with the new Abyssal Blade. he's going to be such a nuisance to run away from. This Ricky is always going to be stabbing you in the back.
He definitely found his farm, be it by farming the creeps or the heroes. He's got everything that we talked about. About the 20-minute mark, we said that this game needs to go for 20 more, and it did. This Ricky is pretty much 6-slotted. And now it's on Geek Fam to find a way to deal with it.
How do Geek Fam go about trying to seize the high ground again? Earlier, they were able to get the tier 3 tower mid, but it cost them lives. It's very hard for them to push into RNG right now.
I don't think that sieging is a good idea any longer. You need to find a fight outside of their base. If Ricky has vision on you, one of your heroes is being deleted 100%. You can see that the Geek Fam understand this. They're completely split on the map. They're just trying to find as much gold as possible in the next couple of minutes before the next fight happens. But the RNG, they're going to bring the fight to them. They've smoked up.
And Setsu, I mean, you see it in the farm. Of course, he is equally as terrifying right now with the level 26. He's past the 25. He has the Aghanims. So the reach, the catch, the damage. This Ember Spirit's also outputting. It's very hard for Geek Fam to deal with. They're sort of only true scaling core themselves. It is the Slark. It's a lot of this pressure on Raven, really, to carry them through this rough portion of the game now.
It's difficult, even though Slark is definitely a good hard carry in this particular game. He has so many problems that he has to face and overcome that I'm not so sure he will be able to do so.
Yeah, I'm flying with this, as the Halberd, as we saw in the past few fights, is just stopping Raven from being able to really get away with a good start to the action.
This Nullifier is definitely a step in the right direction, right? It helps versus the Ember Spirit in particular. But then again, you need to control the Omni Knight. That should be the way they play these team fights.
Monet, he's going to chase this a little bit. He's got, if he has the vision, he has the reach, but
his
Carl's
range
outside of it.
Yeah. His range of Blink Strike with the talent is just crazy.
Seeing a lot of high mobility from both teams. You know, sort of Raven with his Aghanims, Puck being Puck, and then on the side of RNG, Ricky, as you mentioned, with the talent, and Ember Spirit with the Aghanims. There's going to be a lot of dancing around from both teams' cores. And here we have it starting off. Cuckoo caught out from the rest of them. They'll try and force him back. Another Sports to try and separate him from the team. Cuckoo will be able to get out of range, but now Setsu turns his attention towards Dubu. Jumping from Monet. He's on top of Zephyr. Pipe is popped, but Tricks the Trade is cutting them down. One more jump forward will finish off Zephyr. He's got his eyes on him, Monet, and he'll get the kill. Zephyr is gone for 90. Setsu's still alive. Another jump in from Monet. This Ricky is tearing them apart. BKB's popped by Raven, but September's down to the low ground. Kyle's trying to keep vision. Cuckoo already scaredly getting out of there. Does not want to stick around. They've got further catch. Diffusal slow. Jump forward. September's got his shackles if he can commit with it, but it's a little too deep behind the tier 3. He won't go for it.
Luckily, the defusal, luckily for Puck that is, the defusal wasn't there on time, so he was able to get out of that smoke screen before the defusal connected. However, you have to defend your tier 3 somehow. It's also problematic when you see your Underlord dying as fast as Cuckoo was dying. You have to feel like, I'm not joining this fight. I'm not getting anywhere close to them.
Yeah, you cannot understate the amount of physical damage output this Ricky does right now. Monet is just cleaning up kill after kill.
Yeah, and that's also without that basher that we talked about. Without the Abyssal, without the basher. Once he gets that basher, he will be able to even take solo pickoffs. The only thing saving Geek Fam right now is the proper itemization. The 4 staffs from, I believe, the Rubik and the Chen are definitely helping them out quite a lot in these teamfights. But once they have that Abyssal, it's going to be a little bit different because he will have 2 ways of blinking on those targets.
We have the level 25, so that -7 seconds on the Tricks the Trade cooldown, so he's able to use it much more liberally to just consistently close gaps, stay on top, and at the same time sort of be impossible to fight back. You cannot fight what's not even in the game when he's out there in that sort of ethereal plane, striking them from the skies.
When you think about level 30 and all the talents that you get with it, not that we are anywhere close to it, Ricky has amazing both sides of talents. And if we do get there,
Monet, not afraid to show himself. As he goes in, do try and turn, but he's got a lot of backup, Monet.
one thing Geek Fam is lacking is proper disable. Some Abyssal, some Hex on someone. They can catch the Ricky, but they can never finish him off. And RNG also itemized properly. They got a couple of 4-staffs too. That leash is never going to keep him in one spot.
And they found a really nice pickup for Ricky. You see him moving around with the ninja gear. You know, very apt for Ricky, giving him that extra, I believe, what, 20 agility.
Probably has some lore connected with Ricky as well.
And also that means to sort of play around the map. You know that the Geek Fam are gonna, they have to keep the vision game strong, but with that sort of single smoke ability, he's just gonna be able to stay in the shadows, jump in, and it's so hard to read his movements. From the river, Cuckoo again being the focus. September will be jumped upon. They're able to take the Shaman out of the fight, but September wants to be a part of it. Buys back straight away. BKB's up for Setsu as he goes for Dubu. Hanagod is out. Cuckoo is trying to take them back home to the safety of their base. Will be able to grab Carl, but Raven's going to have to make his own way back. Does have the Aghanim's pounce range to get safely out of there.
The problem is Shadow Shaman had the buyback, Chan does not have it, and Rosh has respawned. That fight was actually right again around that Roshan pit, and now they go straight into it. Can Geek Fam fight this off? 4 versus 5. This is that third Rosh. I'm not so sure if it's Aghanim's or Refresher, but they can't give it away, and that's why they smoke straight up, straight again.
Can they really stop RNG from doing this though? Cuckoo, he's hexed. He's stuck in the damage of the Ricky. Cuckoo just melting as this Underlord, as Cuckoo will fall. GA is out. It's so hard for Geek Fam to fight back into this. They're going to buy back on Cuckoo in an attempt to turn this fight around, but Monet is just too elusive, keeping himself out of range of any of the course of Geek Fam. Raven's trying to escape. Will manage to do so. Carl goes back in, can burst down September, but it costs him his life as he's now dead for 100. He has not got buyback. He's short 300 gold. It was not worth him committing for that support kill.
Is there any way that they can get him this buyback? Can they take an objective on the map?
There's
Maybe
nothing to grab.
Runes.
No
There's absolutely
bounties, nothing. Easy road for RNG as they'll claim the Aegis and the cheese. And another terrible position for Cuckoo to be in as he started to walk across towards the Roche pit. There's no backup alongside him.
This could just be game right here. They have no buyback on 2 great cores. Slark, he doesn't have an ulti to work with. He's desperately trying to perhaps go and creep skip. He's doing so with illusions, but as he sees Monet around, he can't even do that. So they do have creeps, and they will start pushing in. At least he has delayed it a little bit, though.
He can cut one of the ways, but
he wants the tower. Maybe this tower will give the Underlord. How much? Ah, no, never mind. Underlord has no buyback. Puck already has.
Raven, he's going for Setsu. Won't quite get him. Force will save Setsu.
He delayed them quite well enough. At least they'll have this one last team fight. Possibly.
Oh, Monet. He's diving in. He's going in past the tier 4s. Feeling incredibly confident with Flywind there to back him up.
This is a tier 3. Probably Raxus as well. Puck will not commit his buyback for this. Perhaps if they go for another side. Actually, the only thing they can go after this is the throne. They didn't take any other tier 2s.
Raven is trying. But this Rax, it's gone. Nothing the Geek Fam can do to put a stop to it, as it seems. Raven tries to step in. Setsu's got a remnant prepared to escape. Raven continues to try and commit. GA's going to be back up in 10 seconds for RNG. It's very hard for Geek Fam to take a fight. We've really just seen that for the last, pretty much the last half of this game. RNG have just got themselves on top.
Man, Geek Fam, you have to appreciate their spirit, if nothing else. They're constantly poking, probing. They're going in, trying to get the pick-off, trying to get the kill, but all you see is this Slark with his Aghanims jumping in, then jumping out, and that's pretty much it. And every time they go in, a couple of their heroes die. And it's rinse and repeat. They just don't have the damage or the pick-off potential necessary to take down the Ember or the Ricky at the moment. Ricky also with that cheese in his inventory, even if he does fall low enough.
It's just so hard to catch, and he has been playing it perfectly, Monet. Still yet to die this game. As Monet, he's ready to come in on the front lines. Geek Fam, what do they have to slow this one down? Raven's going to commit with the Shadow Dance, but it's the Shadow Dance and a back away.
This is pretty much showing desperation right there. That initiation from Slark. They're on their last ropes.
He's in Monet. On to Dubu. Dubu trying to escape. A force will save him, but Monet feeling fearless as the Ricky in this moment. Jumps forward, sees an opportunity to get on top of Carl. Another force gets him out of the smoke screen. GA's out though. RNG want to try and push the fight. Bashes out on Raven. Raven escapes the tricks of the trade. Setsu's falling low. Still has the Aegis to rely on though, so no worries for the Ember Spirit. As RNG turn their attention back towards the Rex as Monet plays around with Geek Fam, pushing them away. They'll commit. Look for Monet. Heavenly Grace keeping him healed up. He'll swallow that cheese back up to full HP. Over towards Carl. Carl out of the range. The root's down. Cuckoo trying to turn, but they just don't seem to have the damage to hit RNG at all. Remnant in from Setsu. The BKB pop. It's stolen Remnant from Zephyr. Gets him into the fountain. They do grab Setsu very close to the own base. Maybe they dove a little too far. Pouncing onto Setsu. Can they kill this one off? Carl and Raven, they're trying their best, but Setsu, he's still too tanky right now with that crown. He's sitting around with 3,400 HP. Goes back in for another poke with the sleight of fist. Raven is out of mana. Monet will jump in. He's looking for the bash. Can he get him? In he goes for the Abyssal. The tricks of the trade will do it. Raven is dead. Has to buy back. Raven. Can he actually make anything go the way of Geek Fam? It feels so helpless right now with how much RNG are just playing around with them. They'll find the Omni Knight. Monet,
they're pinging him out, but he's just tipping away. Ooh. Oh no, so unfortunate. Overall, I think RNG was playing a little bit there. They were diving the fountain.
They know how strong they are right now. I mean, what did Geek Fam do? It just seems like their heroes have nothing on the power that RNG's bringing now, that they have this 9k lead, they've taken 2 sets of racks, and this carry Ricky, he is literally unstoppable, 9-0-13.
Yeah, and he also has queued that Daedalus backup. I don't even think that he needs it, just a buyback is definitely all that he needs at this point, as Slark doesn't have one. They just need to get one pick off and this game is done.
Yeah.
Geek Fam, what can you do? Stay in your fountain, wait. Try to bait them onto the fountain once again. I don't think RNG is going to do that thing again. Instead, they will take the tier 2, tier 3s, get the megas, and slowly finish this off.
There's just so much damage done from Monet. You saw there's like 60k damage by this Ricky.
What do you do as Geek Fam? How do you bring this back?
Dire's top tower.
This will be another tier 2 falling with ease. Almost certainly, as Geek Fam, what can they do right now? They've been shaken up. They did have that slight lead earlier on in the game. Well, actually, I'll say that it never really was a lead. Well, no, it was. Yeah, it was the 28-minute mark.
They had like 10k ahead.
10k. I was going to say 53 minutes in. It feels like so long ago now.
A couple of patches ago, this champ plus Underlord was pretty much unstoppable. Once they get into the snowballing machine, they just take out all your outer towers. They accumulate the gold necessary for their team, and then you just find yourself fighting in a 2-3 item deficit. In this game, something similar happened. They did manage to get one tier 3, but I don't think they respected the Ricky the same way I didn't, or the panelists.
No, and actually, even people watching at home, I'm sure there were people looking at the Monet's Ricky at the start.
There was one Twitch
guy believed.
One guy, he was like, you guys know nothing.
You don't know.
And this is his moment of glory in the chat.
And
I told you, fools.
They were right. Monet's Ricky is just walking away with the game right now.
With that ninja gear, he's smoked up, he's leading the charge. He's on Dubu, and Dubu is gone.
That's a gem, hitting the decks.
Didn't see that coming.
They're trying to snatch the gem with the courier, but it's been spotted out.
Monet. He's going to go for Zephyr, Remnant in for Setsu. Buybacks going to come out immediately from Dubu. He needs to help the team. Monet, he's just diving in by the tier 4. And buybacks are coming into play. They've got to throw everything into this Geek Fam if they want to try and stop RNG. And RNG, they're more than fine. Setsu's away from the Raven, pods the BKB. Look at the pounce on the Monet. He's forced in even deeper. Can they kill him? Trips straight back up. He jumps away, another blink to the low ground. They just cannot stop the Ricky.
That was also the stolen Chain Frost, but just not enough. But they do get the Ember at least.
You know, Setsu, he is buying back. He knows that this is very close to RNG claiming the kill, claiming the game. And Monet!
Is that?
He is, but he's buying back.
Now this is
where it gets exciting. Right, Monet and Setsu,
all right.
They both bought back on these cores.
This is where they throw it a little bit.
They get sort of the throwometer. It's spiking.
Under attack.
Get your 3-2-2s ready in the chat. It could happen.
The win rate percentage definitely is oscillating right now.
If they die at the moment, because those sort of buybacks, they're like the all right boys. Let's just end this. Let's go to the next game. GG.
One team fight. Dude.
Yeah.
Because remember, look at Ricky's inventory. None of these items allow him to survive longer. And if they get this pick off on him or on the Ember, this game can just slip out of their hands.
And it has suddenly made the game feel a lot more exciting. Up until those sort of, I'd say, over-the-top buybacks, this was a pretty smooth, easy game for RNG. Now they've sort of given themselves an opening to lose the match.
Exactly. Now suddenly, Geek Fam, they only need one single team fight in which they kill Ember and Ricky, and they're good.
It's still very hard to do so. It has taken them 56 minutes to kill the Ricky once. So doing it again, it's going to be hard.
So just delay the game for a couple extra minutes and you're fine.
Sticking together as a unit, Geek Fam. Everything on these next few minutes of gameplay.
Same on both sides. It's very, very dangerous to go away from your teammates at this point.
Kuku's starting to try something out here around the pit.
Heavenly's Grace on Slark. He's just checking if perhaps Ricky's solving the rush.
September's got the grab. He's in. He's found Carl. 1-4 separates Carl. Carl's still alive. Pots the load to Setsu's using the BKB very early on here. Dream Car's down. Popping the refresher with a bash. Rainbow on top of him. The GA is there to help out Setsu a little bit as he's nullified. They're still on top of him. Can they kill him? He's bashed up. Setsu's in trouble. They jump in with the silent Setsu. He's fallen low. He's fallen to the side. He will jump across. He's trying to fight Zimmer, but Raven, he bounces in. He's dead without buyback. Monet has been dusted. He's rooted. They're in. He's dead.
Is this it?
They've thrown the goddamn game. That's a throw and a half, Lizard. They've thrown it. RNG have straight up said, we don't want to win this game. They brought back unnecessarily, trying to end it. They didn't need to do that. Now they're dead for 100 seconds on both cores, Lizard. What are they doing?
The true Christmas story here in Bukovel. RNG, the true Santa.
Yeah, I get RNG.
Giving this game away. Yeah. Here you go. Gift, boys.
That's a third. Super's dead now. He's got no buyback.
What are they doing?
What the hell are they doing?
No sorceries available.
September is like... don't worry, guys.
Kind of lost for words right now. I mean, we sensed it, right? We said
it
when
a minute
those buybacks came out, it's like, all right.
All right, boys. GG. Yeah, he doesn't feel that. GG.
There's a combination of cheering and laughter here from the crowd.
There's a combination of... I don't know what...
They got too ahead of themselves. Those buybacks, entirely unnecessary. This game was absolutely going to go the way of RNG. As that really was the only way I feel the Geek Fam win the game.
The only possible way for them to win in that situation,
buyback, die back. I mean, obviously, hats off to Geek Fam for being able to kill them in that mid-engagement.